Hello! If you like this look, then please keep watching. Hi guys! This is my first holiday look. I was getting ready for Thanksgiving dinner, of course, preparing with the new Adele album. And you've seen my brow routine before. I'm just filling them in using Anastasia Dip Brow in dark brown. And my brows look kind of crazy because I'm trying to grow them out. And this is kind of boring, so I'm just going to speed it up because I basically just fill in wherever it's sparse and try to shape them a little bit better. The brush I'm using is the Sephora liner brush that I've had for years. And it lasted me forever, so it's my favorite to do my brows with. And then I use Benefit's Gimme Brow in dark, I believe. And this I just use to fill out the front of my brows and then just comb it through the rest. I'm obsessed with this. It is so good. To clean them up, I started using a flat liner brush and soaking it with a makeup remover wipe. And this is how I like to clean them up without making my face look too cakey and adding a bunch more concealer than I actually need. I do go in with a little bit of concealer towards the tail end of my brow just because I haven't been plucking them. So to clean up the extra hairs, I add it more towards the outer corner instead of packing it all over the perimeter of the brows. That's a little bit too much concealer for me. I'm trying to dial it back more and keep this look super natural, even though it is kind of heavy glam for some people. And of course, I'm priming my eyes using Benefit Stay Don't Stray. And I use a Real Techniques brush. I honestly don't know what brush this is. It's like from the special collection. And of course, I'm adding depth to my lid using MAC Shadow in Bamboo. This is a really good transition color. I recommend getting a transition color that is close to your skin tone. And that's what I always use. It's kind of how I start framing my eyelids for any type of look that I want to do. That's why I use it so often. And that's a Sigma blending brush. Using the new palette, oh my god, it's so cute. I'm obsessed with it, and just because this look is kind of based on the palette, I'll put the colors on the video, but I'm going in with Flower Child. It's a super matte cream color, and for a matte color, it packs on and blends so well. And of course, I'm blending that out again with the same Sigma blending brush. And using a pencil brush and with the color Leader, I'm doing quick taps on the outer corners. And I'm doing that because I really wanted to tap this color in and then blend it out because it's going to be kind of like a brown golden eyeshadow look. I don't know what I would call it. But of course I'm blending that out as well. And this is a MAC 217 brush, and this is more of a defined blend instead of the big fluffy one. But I double blend every single time. So after I do that, I go back in and blend it back out with the big fluffy brush. There's no product on it. I don't add extra product. It comes out great when you don't. So using the same color, I'm doing another pencil brush that's more compact or defined, I don't know, and tapping it closer to the lash line. I don't plan on doing any liquid liner for this look or gel liner, so I'm dragging it across the lash line to define my eyes a little bit more. My eyes are green, so this color was going perfect for them and making them look brighter. And it's important to blend that out as well. So I'm using MAC 217 again and just dusting it and then blending it a second time. Always double blend. It'll just come out so much better, especially with matte shadows because they layer on top of each other and then that can cause a lot of harsh lines. Using Firecracker, I'm going right over that line that I created, and it's a shimmer shadow, but it blends so beautifully, and then it just has like these really pretty flecks of color in them that make your eyes stand out. It looked so beautiful. I'm obsessed with this palette. It's honestly so good. And using the same brush with no extra product, I'm blending that together as well. I was actually surprised how well it came out because I had no plan. I was just like free balling it. So now using Leader again, I'm just adding a little bit more to the crease. Instead of using darker colors, I like to use the same color and layer it in different ways. and blending it in different ways. You don't always need darker and darker and darker to create a smoky look. You can use the same color and layer it on top of each other. It's just how you apply it. And of course I'm blending out those wings because I like to make sure I extend my eyes a little bit. I don't want them to look closed, especially since I'm using no liner. Wanted to do a full face to sneak in my new foundation routine. So I prep my skin with the Ole Henriksen Pure Truth Activating Oil. It's straight vitamin C oil, which is so good for your skin. And for me personally, I need a lot of orange to brighten up my skin tone because I can dull out pretty quickly. And I've loved how this has been coming out. It's not a foundation primer at all, but that's what I'm using it for. So this is how I'm priming my face with this oil first. And then I'm going to use Benefit Professional to go over all of my big pores and wherever I have texture and over any blemishes so that way the skin looks smooth. But I'm using very, very little product. I realize with this, the less you use, the better it actually comes out. So I used very little and just rubbed it over those big pore spaces. And of course over my disgusting blemish. Sorry guys. And now to color correct, I'm using the MAC Pro Corrector in orange. A little bit goes a long way. Once in a while I have a heavy hand, but for this look I made sure that I did everything super light. Just use little dots over your dark pigmentations or blemishes. And when you blend it out, you'll see that the product really, really extends. You don't need a lot of product at all. This is a Sigma Precise Blending Concealer Brush or something like that. I'll list it below. And using LA Girl Pro Conceal in yellow, this is to brighten. So this one you can kind of have a heavy hand. We're gonna blend it out anyway, but it really helps brighten my skin tone. It's so orange and so creamy. I'm obsessed with it. I can't believe it's only $3. It like blows my mind. We're gonna blend that out as well, and I'm gonna use a beauty blender as well. I'm obsessed with beauty blenders. I just think it helps blend this color out way better. I already dampened my beauty blender for this, but while I was doing all my shadow, it kind of dried out. So I'm using my Evian spray. I always like keeping this at whatever station I'm using to make it more moist because my skin is so dry in the winter. And you can already tell, oh wait, he's such a jerk. You can already tell that it's evened out my skin tone so much. So now when I go in with my new foundation routine, Cover FX Custom Drops or Cover Drops, whatever, and the Makeup Forever foundation, I do a drop of each on the butt of my blender, and I start from the outside of my face because I realized that I was looking so cakey for no reason. So when I use all my concealers towards the center of my face, I don't really need a lot of foundation in those areas. I like starting from the outside, blending it in, and then doing a lot more blending than I used to. And of course over my blemish I added extra Cover FX drops because they're super high coverage. I mean, you can't take away any bumps, but it will definitely cover it at least. So because I started from the outside, that's how my foundation routine has been coming out so much more retouched looking. And also because I keep my beauty blender super damp, like I actually sprayed again after applying all this foundation and using a lot of little bounces so that way I can drag it towards the center of my face instead of adding a lot of extra product. And it's also high coverage. So I'm spraying it again, and I'm just gonna drag the color forward a little bit more, and it looks super dewy and healthy instead of super cakey. This is one of my favorite concealers. It's Maybelline Fit Me in medium. It's very close to my skin tone because I'm concealing, I'm not highlighting. So I'm covering wherever I need to conceal, wherever I wherever I color corrected. And I'm gonna blend that out with my beauty blender as well. You might see that my beauty blender is cut. That's because I get scared of mold, so just so I can peel it open and check it, it just makes me feel better. This concealer is so good. I love using concealers that is close to my skin tone first because I like to highlight using concealer in a lighter shade. So going too light is how you get that heavy contrast on your skin tone instead of it looking natural and blended. I'm going to use a combo of Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in Sand and the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Light Ivory. I like under my eyes to have more of a golden highlight because my eyes are green and I don't want it to look too bright. You know how the flashback can kind of be way too bright or a little bit washed out, so I like to keep that only one shade lighter than my concealer. But then on the other areas that I like to highlight, I use light ivory, which is like 2 shades lighter. And I don't know, it makes sense in my head and I love how it comes out when I do this. So I don't know if I recommend it. Maybe it's not for everyone, but definitely try it out. I just don't think there's rules, so I just do things how I feel like they look good. And of course I'm using Beauty Blender to blend that out as well. I freaking love Beauty Blenders. There's so many brushes I don't even need to use because I love my fucking Beauty Blender so much. I've tried a bunch of other sponges too, and there's honestly nothing like this. The Real Techniques one comes close, but this is still the best one. Using Laura Mercier setting powder and this Morphe brush, I'll list the details below. I'm just setting wherever I feel like I need to set my face. I mostly put it over where I have really big pores because that tends to be the areas where you're going to develop a lot of oil. I don't use a lot because with this powder a little bit goes a long way. I'm not a baker type of person. I always joke and say that I just microwave, but I don't even do that really. I just set the areas that I want to, and of course over the blemish, so that way that one doesn't oil up or start to come off or anything crazy like that. Using my new favorite contour palette, the Cover FX number 3, and this OPB blush brush. So now I started contouring a new way too. So I start with doing your typical contour lines, but I really blended out a whole lot using this one brush. Of course I start with the outer corners, the basic places, so on my cheekbone, on the tops of my foreheads, and of course my jawline. But afterwards you'll see that I kind of drag it towards the center of my face a little bit using a really light hand. This contour palette I feel like was just made for my skin tone. It has the perfect color warmth for me. This is the shade that I like. It really blends in with the rest of my neck and my chest and my foundation really well, instead of looking way too contoured or just like too much. It helps with keeping the natural glowy look that I wanted. And I went soft over the blemish, that way it doesn't get all messed up. But you're gonna see that I kind of drag the brush over my forehead and really start mixing it into my foundation. Using the Tarte bronzer, I almost forgot for a second, and this OPB bronzer brush. This brush has really long bristles in it, so that way I can sweep it right over where I contour to kind of set it and add a little bit extra warmth like a real bronzer. But I also dust it over the areas that I highlighted with a really light hand, and because the bristles are so long, it helps with keeping a natural finish. Not that it's natural, I keep saying that, but it really just helps with keeping the glow instead of making it muddy or dusty or too bronzed or too contoured. Using a longer bristled brush for something natural will really help with your execution of the look. See, with a really light hand, I sweep it back and forth. I didn't add any extra products. It just drags the colors so that way the contrast in your skin tone doesn't look too crazy. I don't like the look where it almost looks like you're too highlighted or too contoured. Sometimes I like a really beat contour, but it's Thanksgiving. I didn't want to look too crazy. I was going to my work's mother's house, so you know. So this is a Colourpop liner. I forgot the shade, but I'm going to leave it below. And I was actually so allergic to this. I mean, I topped it out. The color is gorgeous, but I'm gonna have to find a dupe. And using Leader again and a pencil brush, I'm just going on that lower lash line and also dragging it up to the corner so that way it's nice and blended and it matches and gives me kind of like a really discreet little wing to elongate my eyes. And I'm just blending that out. I like to use MAC Bamboo to contour my nose a little bit. I don't always do it, but I figured for the sake of a foundation routine included in this tutorial, I would add in a nose contour. I don't think everyone needs it. I think it's just cool sometimes. So I don't know about you, but my brows kind of get messed up while I do my eyeshadow. Like, I don't know what happens, but I always have to go back in and kind of fix them a little. Now I'm highlighting. This is Ofra Cosmetics in You Do You. They had a collab with the Instagram Dupe That, and the highlighter is really pretty. I kind of strobed instead of just highlighting because I dragged it all over my face to give like a full dewy look. It's not that heavy of a highlight. If you pack it on, it's really buildable, but if you use a light hand, it really does have a really pretty glow. It wasn't enough of a glow for me though, because I do go back in using Anastasia's illuminator in So Hollywood with her brush. Oh, this brush is so good for this, honestly. If you're getting her illuminators, definitely get the brush too. Like, just invest, because I feel like it was just made for it. And I just sweeped it all over the same places for that little extra pop of highlight, because I love highlighters. I am a highlighter junkie. And now using Benefit Blush in Coralista. Oh, this blush is so good. And sometimes when you layer blush over your highlight, it kind of gets all crazy. So I just mixed it using those two brushes. Before any liquid lipstick, I use a lip balm or a chapstick. This one's super, super glossy, so I had to really press it in and then take a little bit off. And while that's setting into my lips, I put on my lashes. These are Skeeto lashes using a Skeeto lash glue. My eyes were so itchy, so this was kind of hard. That eyeliner had me fucked up. I'm so allergic to it. I did my hair off camera. Just did a pony with some wefts clipped in there, and the extensions were already curled and my hair was already curled. That's why it looks all fluffy. And that was Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. That one's my favorite. I put mascara on my top and my bottom lashes. And because I thought the liner looked a little bit too red, I added some Costa Riche towards the outer end of my waterline. This is matte Costa Riche. And it's just a deeper tone of like reddish brown. So I'm lining my lips with NYX Rose Brown. I don't know what my problem is, but it's like the only liner that I used ever. And I was testing out colors. I really wanted to use Catnip by Anastasia because it's new, but it didn't go. And the BH Cosmetics one looked crazy. But of course, Makeup by DNA, the new color Sugar Plum. Oh, it is so gorgeous and the texture is amazing. If anything, I feel like it got better. So I'm pretty much done. I'm just like cleaning it up. And I love how it looks. I love this liquid lipstick. So I'm gonna spray my face with Tatcha. Since it's a holiday, I'm using my expensive shit. Oh, it's so good. I don't use it every day because it's so expensive, but it was Thanksgiving, so I hope you like this look. Please keep watching for my spotlight this week, and remember to hashtag and give this video a thumbs up. I hope you like it. Leave your request for more below. Thank you, bye.